I'm in Birmingham, the heart of the Midlands. Birmingham is home to many icons, such as J.R.R. Tolkien, John Cadbury, of course Black Sabbath. It would be disrespectful not to mention Benjamin Zephaniah among them. While many younger audience will know him for his role in Peaky Blinders, Benjamin Zephaniah is also a very successful dub poet, writer and musician. Today we wish to honour his legacy and talk about the life he's lived and the many accomplishments that the man has had.
Right now, oh me say right now, I want you to listen carefully. Right now, oh me say right now, me want you to tune your mind to me.
Born on the 15th of March in 1958, Benjamin Zephaniah was the son of Caribbean migrants. Oswald Springer, his father, was a postman, his mother, Genevieve, a nurse. He also had a twin sister named Velda and 6 younger siblings. From an early age, Benjamin found a passion for poetry, performing for the first time at a church at age 11. This is where he decided to choose his last name Zephaniah based off the biblical prophet. As a teen, Benjamin lived in Handsworth, an area he's become most associated with. Benjamin struggled to read and write. This was a result of him having dyslexia. At age 13, Benjamin was expelled from the Birmingham Broadway School as a result of poor behaviour. After this, he ended up joining local gangs, where eventually he was sent to a youth detention borstal for burglary. While in prison at night, Benjamin would practice kung fu with a guard, and after performing his poetry to this guard, his guard told him that he should go out and perform his poetry to people. Benjamin took this to heart and decided to go out and be a poet.
I have wrote poems about these places because the riots to me were the fulfillment of a prophecy by Marcus Garvey. The prophecy is simple. When there are many hungry and many without food, many in bad housing, then an uprising is bound to come. The way I see it, the youths have feelings and emotions. SPG and the police force cannot deal with these feelings and emotions. So now I use my pen to bring out my anger.
No, I don't like that girl. Her I want to batter. She's the worst girl in the world. I don't like her dictations and the laws on immigration. I fight in this time nation to build one better nation.
Very humble poet. Was never one to brag about his work or his achievements. A very personable person as well. I met him once as a poet laureate. He was a mentor for the young poet laureate Helen Monks in 2005, so that's when I first met him in person. He's been on the end of the phone a couple of times with some projects that I've worked with, and I was fortunate enough to present him with the Lifetime Achievement Award from the city of Birmingham some 15 years ago. So that gives you an indication of the type of person he was. Never heard a bad word against him. From a personal level, the first time I read his book, I was so inspired. I wrote my own poem, and that started my own career. I was on an access course at the time, returning to education at the age of 27, and I was struggling with people like Hardy, Larkin. So my lecturer gave me a copy of City Sounds by Benjamin, which was written in patois, and I read it straight away. I was so impressed, I wrote my own, and that started my journey myself, really.
In 1979, when he was 22 years old, Benjamin moved to London to expand his audience. While there, 1 year later, his first poetry book was published, Pen Rhythm. Benjamin's style of writing poems was dub poetry. Dub poetry is a poetry written in the intention of performing it over reggae rhythms. It originates in 1970s Jamaica. Dub poetry is often used to comment on political and social issues. This suited Benjamin as a man, as he was very vocal on political issues. He faced racism throughout his life, being assaulted in the 1981 Brixton riots, living in fear of the National Front and being pulled over by the police 4 times for owning a BMW, with the police accusing him of stealing it. In terms of influence, Zephaniah's work is inspired by poetry and music coming from Jamaica. Specific examples he has cited as inspiring him are Jamaican poet Louise Bennett Coverley, political activists Marcus Garvey and Angela Davis, as well as Bob Marley.
Could you tell us anything about what kind of poetry Benjamin Zephaniah created? Yeah, sure. So it was for a long time called dub poetry. It's a term that is not so widely used now, funnily enough. But dub poetry essentially means poetry that draws on reggae rhythms, often set over a musical track, hence the term dub. And that was really the kind of work for which Benjamin Zephaniah became well known. His work really diversified actually over the years, so he wrote in many different forms, but really that's still the core of his poetic practice, was his work as a dub poet.
How does he use language in his poetry?
So there's a lot of emphasis on rhythm. So he's drawing a lot on the oral tradition. That was what he really cared about. So not so much what might be called page poetry, but the kind of poetry that was memorized, reproduced on demand almost. You know, he had a fantastic memory, performed from memory. So it was heavily rhythmical because that helps the memory work actually. Same with rhyme. So he was a very prolific user of rhyme in his poetry too. So that's characteristic of his style. Also, he really believed in making poetry accessible to a very wide audience. So he kept his diction quite straightforward, simple, sometimes drew on dialect as well, and different ways of speaking, different forms of English. So kind of across those patterns really, that really characterises his style.
What significance does Benjamin Zephaniah's work have, in your opinion?
I think he reached an enormous number of people, and he definitely made people laugh. He was a humorous writer. He believed in the power of laughter in order to access quite serious material, in fact. So I think he gave people a sense of poetry as something that was approachable, that could be entertaining as well as serious, and at the same time was theatrical. Again, his emphasis on performance, working from memory, speaking from memory, I think these are the things that he'll be remembered for.
In 2013, Benjamin began playing Jeremiah Jimmy Jesus in Peaky Blinders. Jeremiah Jesus is a street preacher who was born in Jamaica, moving to Small Heath for better opportunities, later serving in World War I and becoming a member of the Peaky Blinders. Jeremiah's immigration mirrored Benjamin's family's own experiences coming to England. He played this role in every season of the show, but due to his untimely passing, he will unfortunately not appear in the upcoming film. Zephaniah was very critical of the police in his work, probably on account of his own experiences with them. He spoke about how large-scale policing had a negative impact on black communities and how police use racially abusive language against black people. In 2003, Benjamin Zephaniah turned down the OBE, Officer of the Order of the British Empire, from Queen Elizabeth. He rejected it because he had fought against the concept of empires and colonialism throughout his life, so he didn't think it would be right to accept an award that would put empire at the end of his name. If anything, Benjamin Zephaniah was profoundly anti-empire.
The OBE means Order of the British Empire. MBE is Member of the British Empire. I've been fighting against empire all my life. I've been fighting against slavery and colonialism all my life. I've been writing to connect with people, not to impress governments and monarchy. So how could I then go and accept an honor that puts the word empire onto my name? That would be hypocritical.
He made us think, he made us smile, he championed equality all the while. Justice and peace were heartfelt themes. A Britain for all was his heartfelt dream. He wanted a world that was gentler and kinder. As a Brummie actor, he played a blinder. But at 65, his life has ended. Hearts are broken and can't be mended. His writing was genius, his talent on fire. The great, the wonderful Benjamin Zephaniah.
Benjamin Zephaniah died on December 7th, 2023 of a brain tumour. Having only been diagnosed 8 weeks before, Benjamin was only 65 years old.
Hello, I'm Benjamin Zephaniah. I feel so excited. I feel so thrilled because, you know, for the last few days, it was the anniversary of Benjamin's passed away. I feel quite down. But this come here to raise me up to find the life meaning. And being here is one part of Benjamin's legacy to carry on.